Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Laneside Reviews. And on this very special edition, we're going to be getting in depth with That Purple Stuff. Alright guys, so welcome back. As always, I am the Bearded Beast, Rob Johnson, and as I said, we're going to be taking an in-depth look into a brand new product on the market called That Purple Stuff. Now, a little bit of background on this. As bowlers, for years we've been told that we need to maintain our bowling equipment. We need to clean it after every set, we need to resurface it after so many games, but most bowlers actually don't know why. And I think Ron Hickland of Creating the Difference has really gone out and put together a lot of good information on the internet about why cleaning equipment is important. However, when you're selling a product, sometimes people believe that you're being, well, you know, a little bit biased towards your own. So we were able to procure some purple stuff from the Bud Light series down in Syracuse. And we brought it back here to HQ, and we're going to put it to the ultimate test. Now, for those of you who've seen his videos online, you've seen him do a lot of cleaning of equipment between shots, or, you know, showing the different absorption rates of oil. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also going to do a little bit of education this week. Now, regardless of if you like his product or your own product, it's important, I think, to understand why people need to maintain their equipment and what happens to your equipment during the course of a normal game and a normal season as it's affected by oil and lanes and so on and so forth, even temperatures, and how it affects its performance. So why don't we get a little bit closer up with a few pieces of equipment that we've chosen to test this product on, and we'll get a little bit more in depth into it. Alright guys, so here you can see three examples of Brunswick equipment. On our left here, we have the new melee hook, then we have the brute strength, and we have an old Azure Pro Zone, the old proactive ball. Now, in testing these, we didn't just want to put that purple stuff to the test. We didn't think that was a fair comparison just to see it on its own. So we've actually grabbed three different cleaners. We have, of course, that purple stuff, the old standby that we were taught for years to use, rubbing alcohol, and a leading competitor. We've got Storm's Extra Clean all-purpose cleaner here. And we're going to see how they stack up against each other on all three of these balls. Now, to give you a little bit of background on each of these, this melee hook has not seen the lanes yet. You can see it still has all of our lines from the shop on it, and we're going to make an important point with that. Even though this ball is brand new, there's still some dirt on it. You still have the grease pencil on it from when it was first drilled. So we're going to see how the other cleaners and how the purple stuff affect that. And we'll talk a little bit about what's on these balls when they first come out of the factory. Next we have our brute strength here. This brute strength has seen exactly 3 games. So this is going to show us the buildup that you get over 3 games. I actually just got back from the center, had it completely cleaned, fully resurfaced, and made sure before I used it that the surface was absolutely sparkling clean. And then once I got finished, I brought it straight back here. You can see there's actually the dirt and grime from 3 games directly on it. So we're going to get a chance to see exactly how much gets built up over that time. And then this Azure Zone. This Azure Zone, as you can see, has seen better days. It's roughly 20 years old. I think it's like 15 to 20 years old. It is caked in muck and grime and guck and everything that you would see from an older ball. So we're going to see how these cleaners stack up against the grime of years and years of usage. So let's get real close up with the Miele hook. Okay, so here we have our Miele hook, still with the grease pencil on it. Now, one thing that you guys might be questioning is when I said what's on these balls when they come out of the factory. Now, a lot of people don't realize that when these balls go through the process of being readied for commercial sale, that sometimes they can be treated with products to make sure that they don't bruise each other as they come down the line. I heard a great story from a guy when I was out on tour about how some of the old Columbia balls, before they were bought by Ebonite, used to put basically downy fabric softener on their balls as they went down the line, so that way they would slip and slide against each other and not hit and bruise the ball or damage or deform the ball when they went down the line. Now that seems to be, in my experience in talking to other companies, a bit of an extreme, but everything is treated, everything has something done with it as it comes down the line, even if it's just resurfacing it or surfacing it from coming out of the mold to what we would actually get as our finished ball. So even though you haven't thrown it yet, there is actually stuff already on this ball. So it's time to give it a clean, and we're going to start with the old standby. When I was growing up, as well as many other bowlers, we were always taught use alcohol. It gets everything off the surface. Well, not really. If you think about it, alcohol isn't a degreaser. It's a fast evaporating liquid that is sterile, there's nothing else in it, that's designed for, well, medical use mostly, for this stuff. Now we've got ourselves a microfiber towel here, and we're just running it around this area and clearing off some of that grease pencil. Now one thing I noticed right away, and I'll show you guys, is you can see that the grease pencil really isn't cleaning off. It's some of it's coming off, but a lot of it is smearing, and you're ending up with a bit of a film, the color of the grease pencil on the top of the ball here. You know, I'm still wiping it, and it's still really, I mean, you can see it right there. See how it's kind of wispy at the top there? So while, yes, it's cleaning off some of the surface stuff, it is not actually cleaning everything off the ball. And if you look at our microfiber towel, there's no dirt coming off. Nothing at all. So, if isopropyl alcohol isn't getting stuff off on a brand new ball, what do you think it's doing for a ball that you've been bowling on? Yes, it's cleaning off some surface oil, but it's not stopping the oil that is starting to absorb. And it's, if the grease pencil is any indication, it's actually kind of pushing it around to the entire surface of the ball. Not exactly what we want if we want to keep the ball clean and working the way it should. So, let's flip over to our Storm Extra Clean. Now this isn't one that I use myself, but many of the cleaners on the market are of a similar formulation, so it seemed to be our best control for this style of cleaner. This is our aftermarket cleaner. Designed to... It's a revolutionary tonic comprised of biodegradable organic solvents that cleanse, rejuvenate, safely restore the surface of any bowling ball. So, one thing that was in there that was important, it has solvents that are designed to remove grease. Alcohol is not a degreaser. It is not. This has a little bit of a degreaser in it, so let's see how this does with this grease pencil and whatever the ball came with on it. Now, the first thing I notice is it's bubbly. When I hit my finger hole, it got a little bit bubbly. Now you can, let's see if you guys can hear this. It's definitely mostly maintained the tackiness of the original surface. This is uncleaned. That's clean. Some of the tackiness is there, but you can hear. It actually feels like it smoothed the ball out. Now, I've used aftermarket cleaners, not specifically this one, but aftermarket cleaners for years. And I do it after every 3 games because you want to make sure that the oil doesn't sit. If you only bowl once a week, you don't want oil sitting on this all week, soaking into your cover. So it's definitely got some off here. And it's mostly clean, but it does feel like it's changed the tackiness of the ball. Now, if you're using alcohol, going to a general aftermarket cleaner is a great first step. Removing that oil, making sure that it's not sitting on your ball all week is going to make your ball last longer. Something I hear all the time is, well, I had this ball and it was great when I first got it and then the cover just died. Well, didn't actually just die. It would be a combination of many things, and I've heard this for a year, and I've asked people, did you resurface it? Well, no. Okay. Oh, then I resurfaced it and it lasted a little while and it died again. Okay. Did you remove the oil from it? Well, no. Okay. Did you clean it after every game? Well, every couple of weeks, yeah. That's why covers die. There's a couple of things, and we're getting a little technical here, so bear with me, but there's a couple of things that will cause a cover to die. The first one is not removing oil. Holy cow, you gotta think, this looks like a solid piece, but this is thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of pores, just like the skin on your face or your arms. If you leave oil in it, it's going to absorb, and eventually they get full of oil, and they don't work properly anymore. So that's the first thing that kills equipment. That's why you're supposed to clean them after they say every 3 games, and why you're supposed to resurface them every 20 to 30 games. Now, the other thing that can kill these balls is improper cleaning, so using the wrong kind of cleaner, such as people who use acetone or Simply Green or stuff like that, that's not designed for bowling balls. There's a lot of technology that goes into these, a lot of chemical technology, and if you're putting the wrong chemicals in with your stuff, it's just going to die. There's no way around it. Now, the last one is something that Ron Hickland has brought up lately that makes a lot of sense because it goes into something that's outside of cleaning this equipment. He postulates with his purple stuff that you should actually clean your ball between shots. It keeps the oil from soaking in even quicker than cleaning it after 3 games, which is a sound principle. But for those of you who've watched some of the videos, especially the new Radical video, Perception versus Reality, you've seen that as you throw a ball over an amount of time, you get what's called lane shine. Now what that is if you have oil on a surface, well, let's get even more basic. If you have 2 surfaces rubbing against each other, it causes one surface to change the surface that it is. If you have a ball at 4,000 and you're rubbing it against something that's 1,000 grit, it's going to change the surface. That's what changing surface is in the game of bowling. Well, believe it or not, your lane is surface. I know. People don't think about this, and somebody probably just went, whoa, like total Keanu Reeves mind blown. But you think about it, if you have something that's basically plastic rubbing against this urethane, polyurethane, reactive resin, composite cover, whatever you have, there is friction there. They are going to change each other's surface. You hear bowlers talking about the track on the lanes, which is an area that's been worn down by lots and lots of bowling. Well, that in itself becomes an abrasive that's rubbing against your ball. Now, when you add the amounts of oil that we now have on lane surfaces, instead of being like running a piece of dry sandpaper across a ball, it's like wet sanding your ball every time you throw it. You think about it, if you have oil on the ball and oil on the lane, it actually creates an even more slippery surface. So as it hits those rough parts of the lane, while it's spinning, while it's rotating, it's going to shine the ball less because there's less lubrication between them. And as a ball lane shines, which means gets shinier rather than duller, it's going to create it to have more length, less reaction, less mid-lane read. So all those things put together is going to kill a ball. That's why lots of people say, I love this ball out of the box, but after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, it died. It didn't do what it did anymore. So I'm sorry to digress on that little bit of a tangent there, but these are reasons why balls die. So we've given it a few minutes here since we cleaned it with the aftermarket cleaner, and it looks pretty decently clean. You can see there's a tiny bit of wisping, but it's pretty much gotten rid of all the grease pencil on the ball. And you can see here, this side right here, a little bit of dirt on a brand new ball. That's kind of interesting. You know, we think about taking oil and stuff off. As soon as you buy it, it's dirty. Now, let's get to this purple stuff. This is the first time I've had a chance to really use this on a brand new ball, so you guys are going to be hearing my reactions as I use it. So, I got the cool foaming one. It was just what they had available at the Bud Light. Ron was down there in Syracuse and he was selling it. And I had my awesome friend and fan, Doug, was down there. And he picked some of this up for me. Now, Ron has a microfiber pad that has basically like a storage sponge in it, so that when you put this stuff on, you don't have to spray a ton of it. It'll soak in and it'll keep coming out over and over again, which I think is actually pretty cool. This is just a regular microfiber pad. Let's see how this did. I'm going to go back over the areas that were cleaned with the other cleaners as well. Now, one thing I noticed right away, those other ones stayed on the surface of the ball for a long time. This stuff is evaporating in front of my eyes. Like, you can see how fast this is evaporating. Now, some of it is soaking into the cover. A lot of it is evaporating. Wow, look at that. That is a lot of dirt that's coming off the surface of that. That's a brand new ball. Brand new clean ball. So use a dry part of the microfiber pad here to clean it off. Smells a little funky. I don't know. It's not really citrusy. It's kind of flowery and fruity. No wisp. No wisp at all. Now let's see how the surface feels. Exact same tackiness. Remember when we did this with the aftermarket, it felt, in my personal opinion, it felt a little bit smoother and we weren't getting that friction. You can tell there's definitely a difference that way on removing stuff from the ball. But this is just a brand new ball. How do we think this is going to stack up on an older one? Well, this is 0 games and there's already stuff coming off of it. Why don't we bring in our buddy here, the Brute Strength. So I'm just going to move this melee here. Bring in our friend, the Brute Strength. Now I'm going to turn this in the light. You can see a little bit of the dirt that's on the surface here. This is after just 3 games. Our center is a very clean center. They have an Authority 22 lane machine, which is pretty top of the line. And, you know, it strips and cleans every time it runs down the lane. Even with that, there's still dirt and buildup on this ball. So let's do what we did with the other one. Let's go rubbing alcohol. Got some rubbing alcohol on here. We're going to hit the track here, which has the most dirt and stuff. Let's take a look. Yeah, you can see the graying there. That's 3 games on a brand new surface. It's already discolored this cloth. Now that's just a small part of the track here. Imagine the rest of the ball. So it's clean dirt, but I can still see the oil rings from my flare line on the ball here. So let's go to the storm cleaner, or our third-party cleaner. I'm using a generous helping of this stuff here. Alright, and I'm going to go over that area that we cleaned with the alcohol. Yep. Very noticeable, the amount of dirt that just came off of there. You can see that's 3 games. That is on your ball. That is coming between your ball, the cover stock, and the lane, keeping it from hooking. This is why we say no matter what you use, I don't care what product you use, you got to use something, and something better than rubbing alcohol to get stuff off. And I can already see that the lines here of my track are starting to disappear with the third-party cleaner. So it's definitely getting some of the oil out. Alright, I gotta use a new corner because there's already dirt on this one from the purple stuff. So I'm gonna give a generous helping here of that purple stuff. You can see, just wet. Let's rock and roll. Let's go over the spot that I cleaned with the other 2 cleaners. I don't know what's going to happen here. They should already be clean. I've got a feeling somewhere Ron Hickland is like, wait till you look at it! Wait till you look at it! Oh, jeez. So, after cleaning it with rubbing alcohol and with a third-party cleaner, look at the dirt that still came off with that purple stuff. That's what's being left behind. After 3 games, after being cleaned twice, that's still on top of your ball, separating your ball from the lane, separating the performance that you paid for from the surface that you're trying to use it against. And my track is finally pretty much gone. But there's the naysayers out there, well, you cleaned it 3 times, of course your track should be gone. Let's hit some fresh track, see what happens. So we got some fresh track here. Area that had not yet been cleaned. I gotta be honest, I did not expect that much dirt to come off cleaning an area that had already been cleaned by 2 different cleaners. Look at that. That was the dirty area. Just wiping it off here. My flare track, you can see that. Almost completely gone. Same as after being cleaned by 3 cleaners. 1 application. So far, I am pretty impressed with Ron's product here. In the sense of as a cleaner. Now let's see what it does with the Azure Zone. Because this sucker... Oh, let's grab it here. You can see the dirt and the grime and the crap all over this ball. So, we've already established that alcohol cleans dirt. No mistaking about that. But it's the old oil and stuff that's on here that I'm interested in to see what it pulls out. So I'm going to turn over to a fresh side of my pad here. I'm going to use the storm cleaner down on the side that we'd already put storm cleaner on. So we have tons of storm cleaner now in this corner. And let's start cleaning. I'm just doing this one area here. Okay. Definitely dirt coming off. Now you can see on top of that ball there, it is still... It's still shiny. It's just now starting to wick away and absorb to the ball. And in looking at it, I can still see dirt. I'm going to bring a light over here, and I'm going to bring this closer to the camera and see if I can show you. Do you see that? That brown underneath, right underneath where the cleaner is. There's dirt still there. It is caked and mudded on. It has definitely cleaned some of it off, but in looking at this ball, in the area we cleaned, it looks like it's mostly pushed it around because there's so much of it. Interesting. Alright. Alright, Ron. This is your ultimate test. We've seen that the third-party cleaner was able to clean some of it, but a lot of it's just been kind of pushed around because there is so much dirt and crap on there. It's just not able to get through to that cover. So let's pick a nice... Ooh, that's a nice spot right there. You see all that garbage on there? See if I can get a little bit more light on it. You see all that garbage all over here? Ooh, I can scrape it with a nail. That's the good stuff. Alright. As a cleaner, that purple stuff, let's see what you got. 15 to 20 years of grime. Definitely a lot of stuff. Whoa. Definitely a lot of stuff came off. You can see it's already starting to evaporate. I'll be honest, there's still dirt here. There's definitely still dirt here. But in comparison, I can actually see some cover stock. Yeah, I can still see. Now there's still stuff here that's not coming off with a thumb. But the cover stock is changing color. It's actually turning back to azure again. That's actually pretty cool. I thought, I mean, I bowled with this a few years ago. And I'd forgotten it was a different color. That's kind of neat. Sorry guys, I'm in the way here, sorry. Yeah. It has taken so much junk off. You can actually see the original cover stock color. See if I can turn this to the light here so you guys can see it. The two different colors of the cover stock. It's actually pulled oil, even though yes, there's still some, wow, there's still some dirt on here, which, I mean, probably needs to be resurfaced away. The fact that this stuff has pulled oil out and I can see the original color of the cover stock. Now, you know what? I gave it extra time. I'm going to give Storm extra time. I'm going to pick another spot of the ball. It's only fair I don't want anybody saying I'm being impartial or partial to that purple stuff. I want to be very impartial, so I'm going to pick another spot of the ball. Let's go down by the Pro Zone here. Let's give it a good deep cleaning. I'm going to push on this sucker. Yes, I haven't actually been pushing yet with the other stuff. Just been surface wiping. Lots of crap coming off, that's for sure. It definitely does not wick away the same as the other stuff. And let's see. Let's see what kind of color we get. Well, it's cleaned the... It's done a good job cleaning dirt away. The cover stock is still the same color. It's still that dark blue because the oil is soaked in. Where on the other side here, you can actually see the original cover stock color coming through. That purple stuff actually got into the covers, into the pores, and got rid of oil. Wow. You win this round, Ron Hickland. Now, that's actually, to me, and I don't know if you guys can see the color. Maybe I'll take some pictures and post these on our Facebook later. You can see it's that color of the original Riot Zone. It's that almost baby powder blue instead of the dark blue that we've got over here. Wow. All right. So, what have we learned? Well, so far we've figured out that alcohol is better than nothing, but it's not a degreaser. So it's still going to allow dirt and oil to, get trapped in the pores. It's not gonna keep any. It's not going to take the grease off. It's going to push some of it around, get some dirt off, but it's better than nothing. We've learned that our third-party cleaner that does have a degreaser in it does do a good job. It is much, much better than alcohol. Probably 10 or 15 times better than alcohol. It got dirt off, it got some of the oil off, and with regular cleaning, it'll keep your ball pretty good where you can resurface it every 20 to 30 games to get original performance out of it. And then there's the purple stuff. And, I mean, the result doesn't lie. You can't fake the result. It actually took oil out of a 15 to 20-year-old cover stock and returned the original coloring, and you can hear the friction. And proactive balls have the most friction. There's the back of the ball that hasn't been cleaned. It's actually restored this cover stock. So, we have proved that Ron makes, and Creating the Difference, his company, makes one heck of a cleaner. There's no doubts about that. Now what we have to find out is how it affects performance on a shot-to-shot basis. Ron has said, hey, use my pad, put it on your hand, between every shot, clean it. And we understand that removing oil and dirt and grime will help cut down on killing your cover by keeping oil out of it and by keeping the effects of lane shine to a minimum because it's removing the lubricant from it. So rather than going up in grit, so say taking your 800 or 1000 ball up to 2000, 3000, or as we saw in the Radical video up to almost 4000, it's removed some of it, which is going to make that take a longer period of time. But now we have to see how it's going to affect the performance of a bowling ball on a shot-to-shot basis based on how it is affected by the lane. So that's going to be part 2 of this video. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.
This program sponsored by Turbo, Driven to Bowl, for all the Quad 2 inserts and interchangeable thumbs we use in all of our videos. Dexter Bowling Shoes, the world's most advanced bowling shoe, the SST-8. Bowlerama Berry, for all the lanes we bowl on. For birthday parties and corporate events, call now. Still searching for that perfect fit? With no residue and easy removal, Real Bowler's Tape really is the Real Bowler's choice. Plantronics Rig, stereo headset and mixer. Play more, pause less. And Logo Infusion. Look the best, be the best, infuse your game. Logo Infusion.